All right, AP. I'm going to let you take it from here. It's week 7 of the Texas high school football season, which means another week of Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight. And it is time to reveal our week 7 spotlight games.
Let's start off hot. This one I am so excited about because it is happening tonight. How about this marquee 6A matchup there in District 21 6A as the 10th ranked Summer Creek Bulldogs take on the number 2 team in Class 6A in the Northshore Mustangs. 7 p.m. tonight. Trevor Bullard on the call. Both of these teams 5-0, started off 2-0 in district play. I'm excited about this. Junior quarterback Blake Thomas has looked exceptional for Summer Creek so far. They are down a running back. Lloyd Anvent hasn't played the past couple of weeks.
Oh, man.
But it hasn't stopped them from looking impressive. So if he might be back. I do not have any word yet as to whether or not he will be playing. I would assume if he's healthy, they definitely want him out there against North Shore. But we'll see. This is going to definitely be the biggest test for Summer Creek's defense thus far in the year. Caleb Bailey, all of North Shore is just cooking.
If you like star power, definitely watch this game because there's a couple of like Division I Power 5 commits on both teams.
Yeah, last week North Shore played CE King, and that was like the first real test for North Shore where we were like, okay, and they just absolutely bodied them. Yeah, they destroyed them.
Yeah, they look really good.
Which we talked about it on Texas Football Today earlier. The thing that's interesting about this game is the first quarter. The first quarter is the most interesting part of this game because North Shore is used to just absolutely piling it on people from the moment that the clock starts, and then they get down in such a fit they can't come back. That's exactly what happened to CE King. They came in there ready to swing, got just bulldozed in the first 5 minutes, and there was no coming back at that point. Because you look up and it's 17-0.
Right.
So,
because at that point you're morally down too, and it's just like, man, how do you even mentally come back from that?
So if North Shore gets the ball first and Summer Creek, I mean, it really just the first drive. I'm super interested in the first drive because if Summer Creek gets the ball first and they go down and score, game on. If North Shore gets the ball and they're able to pull a stop on the first drive, game on.
You got to limit those mistakes too. Like if you're Summer Creek, you have to try your very best to play a clean first quarter game. Yeah. Because North Shore is going to exploit that if not.
And this could really, I mean, if Summer Creek was able to pull off the upset, this could really, really shake up that district because I don't even think that Summer Creek is the second best team in that district. I think Atascocita is.
Yeah.
And so this will make it, I feel like this will be that measuring stick that we need of just how exponentially better is North Shore than we think that they are than everybody because
that's a tough district.
Oh yeah, oh my god. Yeah, and CE King,
like I mean, CE King's typically up there too.
Team,
yeah, right.
And they just got annihilated. So this one tonight, marquee matchup across the state of Texas. Best game happening tonight. You can watch that live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live, and we will have full recap tomorrow on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Another one in the Houston area happening tonight that I am very excited about. How about Scif Falls and Bridgeland? This one's tasty down there in District 16 6A. Scif Falls coming in at 4-1 on the season. Bridgeland also 4-1. Scif Falls running back Trey Morris has been exceptional. He's averaging about 125 yards.
To watch.
Oh yeah,
so fun.
We've had Scif Falls on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight a couple of different weeks, and every single week we usually try to cut their highlights because it's a Trey Morris just highlight reel. So they've been looking really good. On the other side, obviously Bridgeland, the biggest question coming into this year was, are they finally going to find that replacement for Connor Wigman? You'll remember Bridgeland was really, really good when now A&M quarterback Connor Wigman was there. They made really deep playoffs runs, and ever since then, they just haven't had that star power quarterback to bring him back. Junior quarterback Jet Lewis has looked exceptional so far. He has looked really, really good. 788 passing yards, 10 touchdowns on the year. What I love about this game, and I didn't realize until earlier today, I already like the matchup. I feel like these two teams match up well against each other, but this could be a huge game if Bridgeland is able to pull off the win against Cy Falls. Then Bridgeland in week 11, the last week of the season, is playing Cy Springs. We've talked about Cy Springs a ton. They have come out of absolutely nowhere, completely unexpected. Now 5-0. They're leading that district right now after their win against Cy Ranch last week.
Yes, Cy, you're correct.
And so if Bridgeland is able to pull this off tonight, I would choose to believe that Bridgeland Cy Springs in week 11 could decide the district championship in 16-6A, which is just tasty. Obviously, Cy Falls could throw all of that away, but if Bridgeland pulls it off, we're in for a fun week 11.
I think so too.
Moving on now, and again, that one's tonight, so we will watch it. Who is on the call? Chris Elliott's on the call at 6:30 p.m. this evening. So go ahead and watch football pretty soon.
Yes, I know.
6:30.
Seriously.
Let's stay in the Houston area as we take a look at our Friday matchups here. Baytown Lee, the Ganders, out of 5A Division 1, that's out of District 8, taking on district foe Barbers Hill. Lou Roche will be on the call at 7 o'clock p.m. from Eagle Stadium in Mount Bellevue.
I like Baytown Lee's little mascot
Oh,
there.
yeah, the Ganders.
It looks awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Like, it's nice to
Battle
see.
the birds.
I was going to say, it's nice to see a battle of the birds that's not just like Eagles versus Eagles.
Right, exactly.
So the Ganders are looking to shake this one's a shake-up game because the Ganders could really shake up 5A Division 1 with an upset win here over Barbers Hill. I think that you got to come in and say that Barbers Hill is your favorite. This is another really deep district. You've got LaPorte, Barbers Hill, Port Arthur Memorial, Kingwood Park.
Oh, yeah.
The worst record out of any of those teams is 4-2, and
Yeah.
that's Kingwood Park. So Baytown Lee is at 3-2 record, 2-1 in district play. Their quarterback, Levy Duncan, has looked good. Their senior running back, Taylor, has given the Ganders a real big, multiple levels to that offense, but they're going to really, really be tested on defense tonight. I'm very interested to see what their game plan is in stopping, especially wide receiver Brady Thompson for Barbers Hill.
Oh, yeah,
he's been the catalyst, so he's going to challenge him on the outside. I'm very interested to see how the defensive backs from Baytown Lee are able to stop him and try and limit that offense. But if Baytown pulls the upset, that could really shake up that district. Very, very deep, good district.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Staying in the Houston area, again, we spoke with the head coach of the number 19th ranked Tomball Memorial, what is their mascot? Wildcats, earlier. And Sam Parker was very pumped. Tepper asked him, he was like, hey, did you think coming into this that you would be sitting here at 5-0 on the season? And he was like, man, I thought we were going to be good, but this team has really come together and they've played really well. This offense is insane. Insane. And it's funny because the defense is just as good. Anytime, how do I put this to make it sound correct? The only time they've ever given up more than 7 points in a game was to Klein, and they beat them 79-33.
Right.
So
offensive performance is not lacking there.
No, they've been consistently tacking on 50, 60, 70 points every single week. But the most impressive part of that is because their defense is playing so well. The only time they've given up more than 7 points was that 33, but then they went on to beat them 79-33. So really good. They'll have a big test going up against an offense in Klein Collins that has Tucker Parks under center. Adrian Mitchell has his club rolling, and they got the only time that they have lost. They got blanked by Summer Creek, but I think that this is their next big test to see how this district's going to shape out. But Tomball Memorial has been a team that has been firing on all cylinders. Very excited to watch what I believe will be a high-scoring shootout here.
Definitely. Yeah, I really like that Klein Collins quarterback. I think he's committed to UTSA. Tucker Parks, I believe that's his name. But yeah, he's really fun. He should be fun to watch. In this matchup.
Last one here in the Houston area, and this is tasty. Let's talk about 19-6A again. The 25th.
Western Kentucky. Sorry, not UTSA.
The Hilltoppers. Gonna go see our friend Big Red.
Correct.
The 25th ranked Katy Jordan Warriors taking on Katy Cinco Ranch, and we love District 19-6A. There's no denying that. Warriors coming off a very, very close loss to Katy last week. It was an exceptional game. That has got to be the toughest that Katy has been pushed in district in a handful of years. That was one of our spotlight games last week. They ended up falling just shy, but they got off to a really impressive lead.
Yeah.
Their second half, the defense just couldn't hold through, but they got off to a very, very impressive lead, and I think that this one has huge implications on seeding in this district, because I think it's pretty clear as of now Katy will likely finish atop that district, but these are definitely the two best teams.
Yeah. Well,
other than Katy.
Right, and I feel like for so long in District 19 6A, it's always been the Katy Tigers, right? It's always been, that's been the story year in and year out, and to see two other contenders that could potentially push Katy is really exciting.
Yeah, just narrowing that gap.
Right, exactly. Katy will probably still, like you said, will probably still come out atop of this district, but I mean, for future years, I mean, there's more contenders in that district than just Katy.
Absolutely, and I would not be surprised if at some point, one of these teams ends up playing Katy again in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, right.
Which a rematch is always fun, but I think that this game will be the deciding factor between who's seeded second and who's seeded third in this district.
For sure.
So a very tasty one there. Moving on now to the Austin area. These are some of my favorite matchups out of 5A Division 1 District 11, because I love. I remember when realignment came out, I love the cross-regional matchups between the greater Austin area and the Brazos Valley. I think it's the old Texas versus Texas A&M in me coming out, but anytime I see one of these two teams traveling up Highway 6, I guess, probably would be the easiest way to get there. Craigway would yell at me because I don't know every single back road. But anyway, very excited to see this one. Doug Pierce thought that Pflugerville Hendrickson was probably a year early, but they're showing very, very good signs coming into this one. 3-2 on the season, so not exceptional yet, but they've had a couple of good losses, if you can consider them good losses, and then A&M Consolidated. So I think this is another kind of big off the beaten path seeding game when it comes to playoff contentions. Their O-line is huge. Really, really, really big.
I feel like they always have a big offensive line. Always big up front.
So we'll have to see how Hendrickson's defense holds up against a really vaunted offense in Will Haggart is the quarterback down there for Consolidated. Interested to see this one. I feel like this is a very level playing field between these two teams. So that one will be fun down there in the greater Austin area. Moving up now to the DFW we go, and how about this one out of Dallas ISD District 6 5A Division 2, the Dallas Kimble Knights take on the 7th ranked South Oak Cliff Golden Bears. And it's just fun, the same kind of thing that we're talking about with District 16 or District 19 in 6A of it's always the Katy show. That's what this district has turned
always
into.
Always the sock show.
It's always the sock show, but Kimble has looked really, really good so far. Their quarterback, Amori Williams-Hall, the junior quarterback, has already eclipsed over 1,200 passing yards on the season. They've got quite a few really, really good defenders on their squad, but Coach Bam has them ready to roll. And on the other side for Sauk, they lost so much to graduation.
They did.
It was like, okay, is this the year that Sauk goes to fall off? I mean, the two-time reigning state champions, but they've looked good. I mean, Carter Kopecky has looked good at quarterback so far. Their running back, Danny Green, has really, really been a bright spot for them. The defense is led by Brandon Jones. I mean, all of those normal names that you're used to hearing. They're only they have 2 losses on the season, but it's a Duncanville and DeSoto.
I was going to say, they've only punched up,
Yeah.
How do you even take those losses? You got to take those losses with a grain of salt, because those are arguably two of the best 6A teams in the entire state, you know, and it's you can't really take that.
Well, and I think their win over Parish Episcopal was really big.
Yeah,
because
I think so too.
Parish then, like 2 weeks later after that, they went and beat China Spring. I know that's a different classification, but
I mean,
still,
Parish is consistently the best private school in the state.
Yeah.
So that's an impressive win, and I think they also had an impressive win over Lancaster too in the second week of the season as well. So they're a proven team.
Lancaster.
They did. They're a proven team. It's gonna be tough for Kimble to. I mean, this is the first time I think that they've clearly been tested all season. But this is a fun district matchup, and we'll see we'll see if Kimble can hang on.
Yeah, and I think it's another one where we'll see how much the gap is closing. I think Sauk is easily your favorite here. They will always be your favorite when we're talking about them playing anybody out of Dallas ISD. But if anyone has a shot to knock them down, I think putting your money on Kimble as the best contender for them in DISD is probably a fair bet. So excited to see that one. Tommy Yarish on the call there from Kincaid Stadium, 7 o'clock p.m. We'll have all the highlights ready to go. And finally, here's a fun one. We've talked a lot about a lot of districts, but nothing ever gets better than 11-6A as the number 1 ranked team, the Duncanville Panthers, take on district foe Waxahachie. This to me, this entire week is that measuring stick of where is the gap.
Yep.
Where do you draw the line of how good these people that we very much anticipate to see at AT&T Stadium, just how much better are they than the competition? So Waxahachie already has a loss to DeSoto on the year. Twist my arm, I think Duncanville and DeSoto obviously are the 2 best teams in that district, but it does start getting interesting to see where Waxahachie's going to lie, because Mansfield High is coming in at 5-0 on the season. They'll meet up against Waxahachie in week 9, and then Duncanville DeSoto will meet up week 10. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, but seeing how close Waxahachie can get to keeping this close is going to really impact the way I feel about Waxahachie and Mansfield going into play in week 9.
And I think Waxahachie too, like they've looked pretty impressive, especially on the offensive side of the ball this year. But then you switch gears here and you look at how dominant Duncanville's defense has been this season. Now, of course, they've been fantastic on the offensive side of the ball, but I think the real story here with Duncanville is this defense. They have given up 13 points all season long with 3 shutouts. They're just so dominant. I mean,
it's actually crazy. Like,
it really is.
We talk so much about how there's these programs like this that just look so much better than everybody. To see the number 1 ranked team in the largest classification look that much better than everybody, like, I feel like Alito's a good example of that. Or, you know, you get down to 2A, and as of recently, 2A Division 1 has been like, oh, okay, 2A Division 2 is a perfect example of that, like Mart. Mart has always kind of been that team that it's like, yeah, there's a lot of really good teams. Like, the top 10 looks really good, but if you draw a line between 1 and 2 through 10, it's not even close.
Well, and here's the thing, too. When you get down to those smaller classifications, you can have one player come every so couple of years that can just completely changes the trajectory of that team, right?
100%.
But then when you get up into the 5A ranks and the 6A ranks, when all of these teams have multiple Division I Power 5 prospects on their team, and to have a team like Duncanville that's so dominant year in and year out is very, very impressive.
Yeah. Like, I, along with the rest of Texas, cannot wait to see what the Duncanville DeSoto game looks like, because I feel like both of those teams are kind of at their peak right now. Right. And it's like, all right, let's really test those waters and see where the gap is. But this is just another good one, I think, as a measuring stick for Waxahachie of where are they going to finish in this, assuming that them and Mansfield are the 2 other teams that are in the playoffs, which looks all but assuredly like it's going to happen.
Right.
So there you go. We will be live at 7:30 tomorrow night. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, Nick Lopius, Ishmael Johnson, and the rest of the crew of UNT students bringing you the best coverage of Texas high school football that you can find on a Friday night. Come join us, and we'll be diving into those games and a ton of other highlighted games. And looking at scores all across the state in every single classification, 6-man ball all the way up to the number 1 ranked team in the Duncanville Panthers. So very excited. We hope that you will join us for free on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
Yeah, we're not just Houston, Austin, DFW show. We're trying to make it more of a statewide show. So we'll give you updates there across the entire state, across each classification. Again, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Week 7 already of the Texas high school football season.